Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 5. I just really like this show. Do you see what happens when we give writers and actors the space to create something beautiful and magical and actually share it with people? It would be nice if those same people could make some money. I'm kind of struggling to talk about this episode right now because I think it's a really good episode of television, but it's also coming off the back of all of the SAG and WGA stuff, and I'm going to go into this positive. I'm just here to say I support everything that the SAG-AFTRA people are doing. I support everything the WGA is doing. We're going to win this. Let's rock and roll. And now let's talk about a really good episode of Star Trek, because that's what we're doing in Star Trek. It's silly and fun. And I've seen a lot of complaints this season that people have been like, it's a little too goofy. I'm like, yeah, you mean going to walk the streets of Toronto for an hour is supposed to be taken seriously? You mean to tell me when we go to a big purpley sky planet we're supposed to take this seriously? It's goofy. We're having something to say. What are we saying this episode? Spock hot. I've been saying it since season 1. Spock hot. Hot Spock episode alert, guys. This is what we're doing. So, there's a hanging plot thread from the first season we have to get out of the way. Spock is still technically engaged to Pring. She is still courting him. They're still together in some capacity. And they're gonna get together. In this episode, the thing is since they're coming to Vulcan to observe some stuff, well, her parents want to have it's kind of a premarital ceremony, just kind of the unionizing of two beings. It's like a fancy dinner, courting, whatever. It's silly Vulcan stuff. And Spock's like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll do that because I have to, and he has to go down to the planet to do that. And he just kind of wants to get away because, there's a little bit of downtime. And when there's downtime on the Enterprise, people can talk about their feelings. And he wants to avoid talking about his feelings because he has feelings growing for Nurse Chapel. And we're leaning into it, okay? I am an easy lay when it comes to two people that should be dating, getting to do a romance plot in a TV show like this. It's easy. It's something Star Trek has done before. It is something that this type of TV has done before. It's easy. Chapel doesn't want to talk about her feelings for Spock. Spock doesn't want to talk about his feelings for Chapel. But as fate would have it, she has an interview to study at the Vulcan Academy for whatever. So she has to go down to the planet too. So when he needs to head down for his thing, he's got to take a passenger with him, and lo and behold, it's Chapel. So now these two people that don't want to talk to each other are forced to be in a confined space to talk to each other. As they're going down to the planet, what would have it is a weird temporal, time-displaced piece of energy shows up and just gets a hold of their ship. And you think they're going to die, and then suddenly we fade to white, and we snap back up, and Spock is in the hospital, and he wakes up, and everyone's just like, dude, you okay, buddy? Something happened to you. You've been out for a bit. We can't really explain it. You're just going to have to see for yourself. And this is where we, the audience, see that after going to this weird light thing, Spock's fully human. No more Vulcan ears for this guy. An episode where Ethan Peck gets to wear his normal ears. Okay, it's so silly and fun. It's such a really dumb, simple premise. I'm just eating this stuff. It's so good and yummy. I like that we could signify Spock is a little more human because he's got the ears and his hair isn't perfect. It's just a little bit disheveled. It's the same cut. It's the same hair, but it's not evenly placed on his head. It's just a little bit all over the place, a little bit of fringe. It's really working. The dude looks like a guy, and this is where I have to give props to Ethan Peck for this episode. Solely because I don't know him from a lot of other work. I know him mostly from the Star Trek show, where he is delivering a really stellar performance. He has perfectly portrayed how a grown man would react to experiencing emotion for the first time, like a hormonal teenager who's never had to think about stuff in their life. Every single emotion is portrayed perfectly, both from his facial tics to the range of his voice. You buy it completely. This is a guy who has never had a real serious rage problem before, who has never laughed like that before. So it's just one of those simple plots that you've seen a million times. Something happened to him, he has to learn to adjust to it. So How is Spock going to go about his day now that he's human? He's going to do the same simple interactions like cooking dinner with Pike, where before he couldn't stand the smell, now he's just encapsulated by like this sense of bacon, and he just has to eat all this bacon. Or he hears a joke, and before he wouldn't react to it, now he's just overreacting to it and laughing at every little thing. Or when we see that Kirk just leaves like his, dishes at like one of the meetings, he's like, "You have to clean your shit up, man." It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Like that's what you do. And I'm just smiling through all this because it's just working for this character and it makes us laugh and we're having a good time. But because of this, he can't have his ceremony of T'Pring. Like, he can't go down because he's sick. And if her parents see that he's not Vulcan, everything goes tits up for this company. I'm like, yeah, that's really funny. At the same time, too, Nurse Chapel, well, she's not really like getting the respect she deserves for like the effort she put in to get into the academy, because they're kind of like, if you can't copy our notes perfectly, what's the point of you even being here? We're supposed to preserve information, not try to change it. And she's like, what's the point of that? She kind of gets pissed that she can't get in to the academy, so she has just like a sad moment walking down a hallway, and human Spock shows up and comforts her with a hug, and we're just smiling through it. It's great. And that's like the first half of this episode. The second half is his mom shows up. Mother Spock shows up. She is gorgeous. The most beautiful person I've ever seen in my life. As soon as like Spock's mom shows up, I'm like, oh, of course he's hot. Look at his mom. Like, this is a hot family. We have yet to see Daddy. Or did we see Daddy last season? I can't remember. We teased Brother, though. Brother Spock is coming. And she's like, look, I have done what I can to prevent this stuff with like T'Pring's parents, but we're gonna have to do it here. And when she energizes onto the ship, he's wearing like a big like toque, and it looks stupid and it's funny. And then she's like, okay, just show me what's going on. And she's like, oh, okay, this is gonna be harder than we thought. And then we do a montage of everyone on the ship trying to get Spock to act Vulcan, but he's acting like a rebellious teenager. Like, I don't want to do this. It all sucks. It's never gonna work. And he's portraying it perfectly. Like, it's so strong what he is doing. And then the time comes where we have to fake it, and it's great. I'm like, this is so dumb and stupid. It's great. We're gonna put fake ears on him, which if you're looking at this like as an actor, those are like the actual prosthetics he would put on to play the part. It's so fun, and we're just gonna pretend for a bit. I love that. I love that. Like, it's just classic hijinks, and that's what this is. Like, they've been doing a lot of hijinks with Spock in this show. For some reason, I guess I get it. Like, he's like, a stoic, stiff guy, but now there's going to be like a thing that happens with him. It's really fun. At that time, too, Chapel's kind of freaking out because, like, we learn, like, this weird entity is actually, like, a living being, and it's called Yellow. And it's like, yeah, you guys flew into me. There's no need to contact me because I fixed you. Like, one of you wasn't working properly because there was, like, a diluted serum in its blood. Now it's proper. Goodbye. And she's like, I can't figure out a cure to make him Vulcan. I have to go back to find Yellow. And when I talk to Yellow, I'll explain the situation with Spock. Why is she doing this, of course? Because Ortegas and Uhura are coming with her, and they're like, can you just, like, admit, like, just out loud, for the audience sake and for ours, that you're kind of crushing on the Vulcan of the ship over here, please? Like, can you just do that? They fly into, like, a weird temporal thing. They wind up in, like, a weird crystallized place, and Chapel's just like, I need to talk to Yellow. You didn't fix the guy properly. And she's like, I fixed him. Okay? He literally like set it up so like when you guys flew in here, all of the shields would protect you and leave him because he was being vulnerable, and that's an act of humanity from him. So he's clearly human. She's like, no, he's not fully human. He's like my friend, but sometimes I wish we were more than friends, and I think about that stuff, but I don't want to admit that, so can you please just make him normal, or give me the chance to make him normal so we can figure out this shit. I kind of like, if you want to look at this like a metatextual way, it's kind of like we flew into a being where now we have to force Spock and Chapel to confront their feelings for each other, and I'm here for it. You do that, I'm involved. That's called good writing, and when you have great actors, they deserve pay. Like, that's all I'm going to say. Let's stop talking about that. Let's get back to like the weird ceremony where there's like, there's literally, my first thought was like, oh, so we're doing the Festivus thing. We're like, and now for the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people, and it's time you heard them. Because T'Pring's mom just lays into Spock. Like, you're no good for my daughter. You choose this ship over her all the time. You have tainted blood of like your mother. You're a terrible excuse for a person. And he's just like, okay, I'm gonna use the bathroom. He excuses himself, and then he just screams and freaks out. And it's awesome, and we're having a great time for it. And nothing's going according to plan. We see that maybe there's some earthly customs we can make up to kind of like ease the tensions and stall for a bit. So Pike's like, what if we play charades? And we spend a minute trying to explain the rules of charades. And it's great. And the entire time you can tell like T'Pring knows something is up, but she doesn't know how to like say that or advise on that notion. And then finally, after things are getting intense and, you know, Spock's hot mom and hot Pike can't stall any longer, Chapel comes in with the serum, and he's like, hey, yeah, because I was like injured and that's why I wasn't there before, I have to go deal with this. So he goes to take his medicine just privately, and that's when T'Pring catches on, and you're like, oh yes, this is what we're eating good tonight, fellas. This is beautiful and it's fun. And he's just like, okay, I took my serum, great. Is it gonna kick in right away? I don't know. He walks back out and just goes like, okay, I'm sick of all this. You're making fun of my mother, but she has worked hard and tirelessly to like prove that I am a good. So like she put up with all your crap and your society's crap to make sure I was okay and included on Vulcan, even though I'm a half-breed. So she sacrificed more than you'll ever be, and that human part of her makes her stronger and makes me stronger than you are. And then he admits that he was human during this whole courting ceremony. Everyone kind of freaks out, and it's a beautiful moment. And it's like Spock realizes he could talk to his mom about emotions, and it's a beautiful, oh, it's so beautiful. I just love it. I'm having the time of my life, and I'm breezing past everything because I just want to get to the end. You know, this is what we're doing. This is what television's about. Good shit all around. But this is where T'Pring notices the long-looking eyes of the two people that clearly like each other, and then she pulls Spock aside privately, and she's like, you could have told me from the beginning what happened, but you chose not to. Instead of telling me the person you're supposedly going to marry, you told every single person on the Enterprise because you clearly love the ship more than me. I think we need a break. So they're on a break. What does that mean in Vulcan? Probably nothing's ever going to happen with them ever again. We had to get out of there, okay? I know there's like, I think in like, you know, a 22 episode season of a show, we can stall that for longer, but we got 10 episodes. This is 5. We don't want to waste any more time. We don't want to waste more time. We know where this is headed. Let's not beat around the bush anymore, okay? We get it. Spock reconnects with his mother. They have a longing moment where she admits like what she had to go through to make him happy, and that's a really nice, powerful thing. Pike is in an apron the entire time. We are here for that. And it's just like a beautiful, quiet moment. And you're like, yeah, this is like Spock learning like his humanity isn't his weakness and that he's capable of being a better person. And we love it. We're here for it. It's great. It's fun. And then the episode ends when he becomes Vulcan again and he's kind of back to normal. And he goes to confront Christine. And Christine goes to confront him. And we finally do it, okay? It's been kind of implied in the original series. There's been some specific episodes where Christine has admitted her love for Spock, and they had some longing looks and some probable chemistry going on there. But now, because he had the experience as a human and he realized he could talk about his emotion, he tells her, look, T'Pring and I are on a break, and I don't know how it's going to go because my feelings are diluted because I'm interested in another person, and I don't know how to express that or think about that. And she's like, that's okay. I do. Kiss. We kiss. There's a kiss. They kiss. Chapel and Spock kiss. And they do more than kiss. They get a lot of smoochies in there. And that's where the episode ends, like on that high note. And we're going to be riding that until next week, baby. Like, that's the stuff we want. That's what I've been waiting for this show. Are we going to like have it a secret where they're like going to actively like hide their fling on the ship? Or are we going to like full out? Yeah, they might be dating. They're kissing. Who knows what's going on? Maybe. I don't know. All I know is this. Spock in Chapel is way better than Spock in Uhura. Just saying, Abrams. You picked the wrong horse on that one. Great episode. Great acting from Ethan. It was really fun to see him just like shine and be like an emotional teenager. I love the relationship between Spock and his mother. I think they handled the T'Pring stuff really well. We kind of had to get through that. It's a little on the nose and hijinksy and just kind of silly sitcom stuff, but that's also baked into the DNA of Star Trek. So if we do that right, you can do it properly. And they did. They handled that beautifully. And I'm very excited for next week. When we just have an episode that's just two people not talking about how they like each other, then suddenly they start talking about how they like each other, I'm a sucker for that shit. It's great. The chemistry's there. It works well. No complaints from me. You know? You solved it. You won the day. You solved the case. Goofy stuff all around. I'm here for it. I love it. I respect it. More like this, please. Again, this show has been 5 for 5. I don't think there's been a bad episode in the bunch. Amazing. Amazing. And hey, that is going to do it for this review of Strange New Worlds. So thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Live long and prosper.